Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. In the quiet corners of our homes, our feline companions grace our lives with their enigmatic presence. As they age, we watch them slow down, their once energetic pounces becoming gentle hops. Sometimes, however, the changes are more profound. A cat might start meowing plaintively in the dead of night, seem lost in a familiar room, or forget the location of its litter box. For years, many owners and even veterinarians dismiss these behaviors as simple side effects of getting old. But science is now painting a much more complex picture. These cats may be suffering from feline cognitive dysfunction, or FCD, a condition remarkably and tragically similar to Alzheimer's disease in humans. This revelation has opened a groundbreaking and unexpected frontier in the fight against Alzheimer's, a devastating disease affecting millions of people worldwide. Today, we're exploring how our domestic cats are stepping into the unlikely role of crucial scientific allies, and how studying their aging brains is providing profound insights into one of humanity's most feared diseases. First, we need to understand what feline cognitive dysfunction looks like. It's an age-related neurodegenerative disorder that impacts a cat's memory, learning, and awareness. The onset is often subtle, with behavioral changes that are easy to misinterpret. Studies suggest that age-related behavioral changes, consistent with cognitive dysfunction, are seen in about 28% of cats aged 11 to 14 years. That number jumps to over 50% in cats aged 15 and older. To help categorize the common signs, veterinarians and researchers often use the acronym DISH. The D stands for disorientation. This is one of the most frequently reported symptoms. Cats may appear lost or confused in their own homes, get stuck in corners, or stare blankly at walls. This disorientation often leads to the most distressing symptom for many owners: increased vocalization. The cat may cry or yowl loudly, especially at night, for no apparent reason. The I stands for interactions. A cat's relationship with its owners and other pets can change dramatically. Some become needier and more attention-seeking, almost like they've developed separation anxiety. Others may become withdrawn, irritable, or even aggressive. Tragically, they might even fail to recognize familiar people or animals they've lived with for years. The S is for sleep-wake cycles. The cat's internal clock can go haywire. Many cats with cognitive dysfunction will sleep more during the day and then become restless and active at night, pacing aimlessly through the house, often while vocalizing. Finally, the H stands for house soiling. A previously perfectly trained cat may begin to urinate or defecate outside the litter box. This isn't an act of rebellion, but a sign of confusion. They may have forgotten the litter box location, what it's for, or simply can't make it in time. Some mnemonics are even more detailed, like VISHDAAL, which adds categories for changes in activity levels, an overall increase in anxiety, and deficits in learning and memory. The tragic familiarity of these signs to anyone who has witnessed a loved one struggle with Alzheimer's is undeniable. The confusion, the personality changes, and the memory loss create a parallel experience that bridges the species gap. So if you notice these signs, how is feline cognitive dysfunction diagnosed? This is where it gets tricky. There is no single blood test or brain scan that can definitively identify the condition in a living cat. Instead, it is a diagnosis of exclusion. A veterinarian must first meticulously rule out all other medical conditions that can cause similar behavioral changes. This is a critical step because many common ailments in senior cats can mimic the signs of cognitive dysfunction. For example, an overactive thyroid gland, or hyperthyroidism, can lead to increased vocalization and restlessness. High blood pressure, known as hypertension, can cause neurological signs and anxiety. Chronic kidney disease can lead to house soiling. Chronic pain, especially from arthritis, is often under-recognized and can cause irritability and reduced activity. Even sensory decline, like hearing or vision loss, can lead to disorientation and anxiety. A thorough diagnostic workup involves a detailed behavioral history, a complete physical and neurological exam, blood tests, a urinalysis, and blood pressure measurement. Only after all these other potential causes have been ruled out can a veterinarian make a presumptive diagnosis of FCD. Now, let's get to the most compelling reason for the scientific excitement around this condition. It lies deep within the brain's cellular landscape. The brains of aging cats with cognitive dysfunction develop pathologies that are strikingly similar to the two main hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease in humans: the accumulation of amyloid beta plaques and the formation of neurofibrillary tangles. Let's break that down. The first hallmark is amyloid beta plaques. In both human Alzheimer's and feline cognitive dysfunction, a protein called amyloid beta clumps together to form toxic plaques. These plaques build up in the spaces between neurons, disrupting communication. A recent groundbreaking study from the University of Edinburgh used powerful microscopy to find that in the brains of older cats with dementia, these toxic deposits were heavily concentrated within the synapses, the vital connections between brain cells that are essential for memory and learning. The loss of these synapses is a strong predictor of cognitive decline in humans with Alzheimer's. The second hallmark is tau protein and neurofibrillary tangles. In a healthy brain, a protein called tau helps to stabilize the internal skeleton of neurons. In Alzheimer's, this tau protein becomes abnormally modified, causing it to detach and stick to other tau proteins, forming twisted threads inside the neurons known as neurofibrillary tangles. These tangles block the neuron's transport system, harming communication and eventually leading to cell death. Remarkably, aging cats spontaneously develop this exact same tau pathology. The fact that cats naturally develop both amyloid plaques and tau tangles is what makes them such a uniquely valuable model. Many other animals, including dogs and even non-human primates, may develop plaques with age, but they don't reliably develop the tau tangles. But that's not all. A growing body of research points to neuroinflammation as a critical third component of Alzheimer's. The brain's immune cells, known as microglia, can become overactivated in the presence of amyloid plaques. Instead of just cleaning up debris, they start to attack and destroy healthy synapses. Research has shown this destructive process, called synaptic pruning, also occurs in cats. Finding this same mechanism in cats provides a natural model to study how this harmful inflammatory cycle begins and how it might be stopped. For decades, the primary animal models for Alzheimer's research have been genetically modified mice. While these models have provided foundational knowledge, they have significant limitations, which many believe is a major reason why countless promising treatments have failed in human clinical trials. This is where cats offer a superior, more authentic model. First, cats develop the disease naturally. Mice do not get Alzheimer's spontaneously and must be genetically engineered to produce the disease hallmarks. Studying a disease that arises naturally provides a more biologically relevant context. Second, as we mentioned, cats develop both plaques and tangles, a complete picture of the disease that most rodent models lack. Third, the feline brain, while smaller than a human's, is more complex and folded, more like our own, than the smooth brain of a mouse. This structural similarity may allow for a more comparable pattern of disease progression. Finally, domestic cats share our homes and, consequently, our environmental exposures, from diet to household chemicals. Their relatively long lifespan also allows for a slow, progressive disease course that more closely mirrors the human condition than the compressed timeline in a short-lived mouse. This understanding is not just positioning cats as research subjects, it's also revolutionizing how we care for our aging feline friends. The management strategies for FCD focus on slowing cognitive decline and reducing anxiety, and many of these approaches mirror the holistic care recommended for humans with dementia. This creates a fascinating opportunity for what's called reverse translational medicine, where therapies successful in cats could inform human treatment. Management starts with environmental enrichment, based on the principle of use it or lose it. A predictable routine for feeding and play can reduce stress for a disoriented cat. Simple modifications like providing low-sided litter boxes, placing multiple food and water stations around the house, and using ramps can make a huge difference. Mental stimulation is also key. Puzzle feeders, treat balls, and interactive play with wand toys can help keep a cat's brain active and engaged. Nutrition is also emerging as a cornerstone of managing cognitive decline. The goal is to provide the brain with specific nutrients to combat oxidative stress and reduce inflammation. Diets and supplements rich in antioxidants like vitamin E, omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil, and medium-chain triglycerides or MCTs from sources like coconut oil can support brain health. The aging brain becomes less efficient at using its primary fuel, glucose, but it can still readily use an alternative fuel called ketones, which are produced from MCTs. In fact, a 2013 study showed that a diet supplemented with a blend of fish oil, antioxidants, B vitamins, and the amino acid arginine significantly improved cognitive performance in older cats. While there are no drugs specifically approved to treat feline cognitive dysfunction, veterinarians may use certain medications off-label to manage symptoms like anxiety or disorientation. This multimodal approach, combining environmental management, targeted nutrition, and symptomatic medication, is remarkably aligned with how Alzheimer's is managed in humans. Successes in feline clinical trials could directly pave the way for similar trials in people. The connection extends beyond the lab and into the emotional heart of our homes. Caring for a cat with FCD mirrors the challenges faced by families of human Alzheimer's patients, creating a significant caregiver burden. Yet, this shared experience also highlights the therapeutic power of the human-animal bond. The simple, unconditional presence of a cat can reduce anxiety and depression in people with dementia. Interestingly, research has even suggested that pet ownership may be a protective factor against cognitive decline in the first place, particularly for older adults living alone. One study found that for those living alone, owning a pet was associated with slower rates of decline in verbal memory and fluency. Now, it is crucial to address the ethics of this research. This is not about inducing disease in healthy animals. The power of the feline model lies in studying cats that have naturally developed the condition. The research is observational, and clinical trials for new therapies aim to provide direct benefits to the feline patient. It's about improving the cat's quality of life, with the hope that positive results can then be translated to humans. The story of how cats with dementia are helping to fight Alzheimer's is a powerful testament to the interconnectedness of life. These unlikely allies, in their vulnerability, are providing science with a clearer window into one of the most complex diseases of the mind. By working to understand and heal our aging feline friends, we may find the very keys needed to unlock a future free from the shadow of Alzheimer's, benefiting pets and people alike in a beautiful, symbiotic circle of discovery and care. Thank you for listening to G Fun Facts Online.